Super cool radio.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Super Cool Radio interview. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a great guest joining me at this time who I'm very excited to have on the podcast. He is representing the comedic rock, kazoo metal, party folk band PLeThorA. Please welcome Freedomator.
Ahoy, greetings, eagle screeches, all that fun stuff.
America, fuck yeah!
Alright, so I know we got quite a bit to discuss with PLeThorA and everything you guys been working on lately, but before we really get into all of that, so if anyone's not familiar with the band, how would you describe it?
We are basically lore-wise, we are a group of heroes from the beginning of time that saved the earth, froze ourselves in ice up until the world needed saving once again. And then once the band thawed out in the year 2010, when we officially were created, we basically took the idea of these medieval heroes and mixed it with the modern day superhero fads that were going on at the time, plus the whole America meme. We kind of combined it into one ridiculous, America themed superhero that's also a band, and half of our songs are about food and epic battles, pirates, all that fun stuff. Nothing too serious.
Oh, definitely. I very much like that you definitely poke fun at a lot of things, and it's definitely a kind of a mishmash, kind of a lot of different elements, and it just seems like it's just a lot of fun. Obviously in the music, and just I've seen obviously videos of your performance and stage show as well. You guys definitely incorporate a lot of different elements.
A lot of us, we all have just tons of different genres that we like. Obviously rock and metal, but we like to base the songs in rock and metal and then add another hint of something else. So I love folk rock, so a lot of our songs that are pirate or Viking themed, there's more folk instruments, your whistles, your accordions, that type of thing is in there. And then even other so we have a song that we're going to be releasing hopefully in the next couple of months. It's called Cat Party. That one's like a metal song, but it's really dancey. It's got lots of techno and even some dubstep elements to it. So we kind of try to tailor the song genre based on whatever the topic is and kind of match the styles with the words, if that makes sense.
Oh no, I got what you're saying, but it definitely with PLeThorA, there's really no limits to what you guys can do genre wise, lore wise, just really anything. It'll be if you guys did said hey, we're gonna fight a bunch of pirates and then go meet Abraham Lincoln in the same song, I would totally believe it. Oh
yeah, there's definitely no limit. We've got ideas for upcoming albums that will be we have 80 original songs, and we have so many that aren't quite recorded yet that we've been able to make all of our next upcoming albums themed based around the different styles. So our next one that we're going to release hopefully this fall will be called Kazoo Metal, and it will feature our heaviest songs. And then we've got projects in the works. We have another folk metal album coming out after that, likely called Ragnarok. And we've even got ideas for albums that involve space themed epic questing through the Final Frontiers type album with the 80s synths and all that kind of stuff. So there's so many different songs that we have stylistically able to fit on future albums. That'll be super fun.
Oh yeah, it definitely sounds like it. So I kind of want to go into the writing recording process for you guys. So what does that process look like? And is it like some people bring ideas and you guys all kind of like work together? Like how does it like work for you guys?
I just sit around and write constantly. Like like the bassist and the drummer often will write their own parts. I write a lot of the main skeleton for the songs. Our keyboardist and other guitar player are fairly new and they're still playing catch up on songs, but I'm still getting ideas from them here and there to try and add their bits into it too. For the most part, what we do for recording is we have a buddy of ours. His name's Paco Higdon. He was in another comedy rock band that we met years ago. He's got a studio in Detroit area that we track drums at. And then he sends everything back to me. I'll record all the guitars, the vocals, some of the keys, but like I'll let the other guys kind of put their parts down and then I'll send it back to him for mixing. So we've streamlined our recording process significantly compared to what we were doing in the past, where we kind of got screwed over by a previous producer where it took 7 years to get an album out. So now we've been averaging like one every year and a half to 2 years since 2020.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the previous experience, but I'm glad, obviously you guys have like learned from that and definitely, has expedited the process quite significantly with it, while also keeping like, the high quality of, from the albums and the music that I've heard.
We like to keep it all as radio quality as possible. And that last producer, like, it wasn't all his fault really. Like, he wasn't intentionally doing it. He just had lots of life crises that kept stopping us from getting into the studio to finish it. So we had to come up with a new way of doing things to get our music out there.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. I mean, things like that do happen, but you guys have definitely, really like helped your process, through obviously going through that. But I'm kind of curious. So you've kind of hinted at new music. I've heard there might be an album in the works, for this year. So like, what can people expect from new music from PLeThorA this year?
Well, right now I've got about three or four songs that are almost into the mixing phase. So I'm hoping late winter, early spring, we'll start dropping singles, keep dropping them every month and a half, 2 months up until release. We're looking potentially at like October-ish. That will be our 15-year anniversary. So it seems like a good idea to drop an album to help coincide with that celebration. Maybe even earlier if we're lucky, but likely October. Usually we play at the Michigan Renaissance Festival, and that will run from August through the end of September. So hopefully we'll have a nice release party after that.
So you got some great plans in the work for new music. So like, I'm curious, so like performing at a Renaissance fair, obviously not usually a normal venue for, like many bands who have interviews. So I'm curious, like, how is it a different vibe, different experience? Like, how is it performing at a Renaissance fair?
So you see this outfit I'm in, we don't wear all of this stuff. It would be much too hot, but it also doesn't quite match the required garb that you're supposed to wear there. So we kind of have two versions of the band. We have our full get-up superhero costume with the full electric and like the drum kit and everything, and then we do another version of the band where we specifically only play our folk song, folk rock, folk metal type stuff, and we'll play only that stuff at the Renaissance Festival. But we have like 30 originals of that style, so it fits perfectly. We all kind of wear, just more like kilts or furs or pirate outfits. It kind of works as a callback to our band's lore of the beginning of time, the ancient heroes, what we would have worn back then. So it's almost like we're time traveling in a way back to our old gimmick and then go back to this one for electric. And we've been able to kind of make it feel like we have a song called Yalhalla that's about redneck Vikings. And so I'll wear a trucker hat that says Yalhalla on it while wearing a Viking outfit. So, and I keep my sunglasses. So it kind of does like a good mesh of both of the styles there. So that's how we make those work.
sunset to the southern coast. We're redneck Vikings questing to the place that I crave most. Who needs a longboat when you've got a fleet of derby cars? Forget the meat, all that I need are hordes of PBR. A quest shall take us to a fortress filled with mighty halls. There's waterfalls, a bloodline pouring out of every wall. There's no real way to find it, no map control around. We'll have to die in battle, of that there is no doubt. Onward we'll quest through the hurricane winds. Forward to glory, the fight we can win. No need to defend, we must meet our end. Into the brains all we shall ascend. The booze, it will suffice. It's time to go berserker mode while chugging natty ice. We'll drink and smoke until all of our voices slur and stammer. We may not have the might of Thor, but still we're getting hammered. That quest shall take us to a fortress filled with mighty halls. There's waterfalls, a miller pouring out of every wall. There's backyard wrestling every night, I really hope to see it. The plates are filled with KFC and it smells like Talladega. Onward we'll quest through the hurricane winds. Forward to glory, the fight we can win. No need to defend, we must meet our end. Into the brains all we shall ascend. Hey, 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 hey. Fountain spray, where country music plays all day. The place with no need for ashtrays. Alrighty boys, onward to death we ride. Every mounted beast, the biscuits and the gravy shall provide an endless feast. Just barbarians and ruffians, but still we're not quite Norse. Have aboard this monster truck and throw away your horse. That quest shall take us to a fortress filled with mighty halls. There's waterfalls, a course line pouring out of every wall. We've beaten every challenger, we've tried upon a snake. Will someone with me just prove it isn't fake? Onward we'll quest through the hurricane winds. Forward to glory, the fight we can win. No need to defend, we must meet our end. Into the brains all we shall ascend. Onward we'll quest through the hurricane winds. Forward to glory, the fight we can win. Our soul carried high to the holes in the sky. The only way in is to die.
As we were talking about kind of earlier, like kind of a little flexibility with the band that you can have the, like, you know, what you're wearing right now in a full electric, you know, rock show. And then also you guys can play at a folk, you know, Renaissance fair, play folk music and have that fit in with the band as well. You know, like kind of, as you were talking about, kind of a throwback to the original, you know, lore. I really like that. And again, it's just cool to get that kind of like flexibility, having like two different sides and performances with the same band.
It's kind of interesting coming from a band background where we've been playing bars and clubs for so long, and then suddenly we're playing at Renaissance festivals too, and it's a totally different vibe because it feels like bars. You're like you're pulling teeth to try and get them to pay you $50 or just give you a drink ticket. But at these festival shows, they're just like, yeah, how much money do you want within reason? I don't know. They take care of us.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have been like a pirate metal band to start with, go full acoustic. Seems to be where the real money is, but I don't really do it for that. I love playing any show, any venue that'll have us. The only thing that might be tough is when you're doing comedy, even though our music is professional recorded and all this stuff, I feel like we get looped into you can only play with funny bands even though we have music tailored to literally any type of show, because we can play with rock, we can play with metal, we can play with folk, we've played with rappers. Like we can tailor our set to any genre show, but a lot of times it seems like we get looped into you're only able to open for these bands that are also funny, and so there's not a lot of funny bands, so it seems to limit what we can actually play with unless venues take a chance and just let us play regardless of what the genre is on the bill.
Kind of going along with that, so I'm like curious. Obviously, comedy is obviously a big focus of your music. So like, I'm curious to like getting typecast like that, of being only playing with like certain bands as promoters feel like, has that been like one of the challenges with like this band?
Yeah, because like we've opened for, I don't know if you're familiar with Psycho Stick.
Oh yeah, I've seen them live. They're awesome.
They're phenomenal, great dudes. We love playing with them. But it's like I can think there's Green Jello, there's Psycho Stick, there's Necrogoblicon, there's there's Max Sabbath, for example. There's some good ones out there, but I feel like there's maybe 4 or 5 that tour. And when it seems like those are the only shows you're ever offered to play on, it's kind of tough to break out of that crowd or try to build your audience by opening for newer other bands that people haven't seen us with. So I would say that's probably like the main thing is, and for some reason it's like people don't take you seriously. They like once they see us, they get it and they enjoy it. We've never had a bad crowd or people. We've never had real haters except for maybe 1 or 2 funny jokes on the internet. But like, it's a weird thing trying to get people to come to the show to begin with, and once they see how fun it is and how, because we involve the crowd with all sorts of stuff. Like there's usually food given out. We've got stunt guys running around handing out food or props, or like we have a song called All My Friends Are Dead that's about the last dinosaurs. So we'll have people in inflatable T-Rex costumes running around, and then we'll toss out these foam ball meteors, and we have the crowd pelt the dinosaurs with the foam meteors. Just little stuff like that where we try to get the crowd involved. And we have like some of our folkier songs will have rowing pits where we just get the whole crowd rowing along to the songs. Or we do a cover of Diggy Diggy Hole where people are just pretending to dig holes like dwarves in the crowd. Just fun stuff like that.
Well, that sounds amazing, and also like very creative as well, and especially to get that crowd participation, especially with like the kind of style and music and vibe of the band. Crowd participation very important. So to really get into that and just make it really enjoyable for the whole crowd, no matter like obviously where you are, who you're opening for. It's all about if the crowd has a good time.
For sure. And we've gotten kind of lucky because some of our stuff does, like the folk metal type stuff also fits well with power metal bands and symphonic or folk metal bands. So, and most of those bands aren't serious and they're pretty funny. So like this last year we got to open for Hammerfall, which was amazing at the Machine Shop in Flint. Big shout out to Kevin, the owner of that venue. That place is our favorite place to play for sure, besides probably the Renaissance Festival. But yeah, the power metal is fun because it's all cheesy songs about dragons and wizards. So we fit along with that well, even if most of our stuff isn't quite there. But we do have a good chunk of songs that fit with that very well.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Definitely, I can see how it kind of meshes very well with that. And obviously, I've not been in the machine shop. I've heard a lot about it, though. I definitely want to go there at some point. I've heard it's a phenomenal venue.
A lot of the venues you hear about these days are taking merch cuts from bands and stuff, or promoters are making the locals sell insane amounts of tickets. Like, he doesn't make you do any of the BS that seems to pop up in the music news. So we definitely love playing there. He supports local just as much as he does any of the national stuff. So great place to play. And I think our my favorite time we've ever played there. So we're also members of this comedy punk rock band called Green Jello, which has like 900 members. So it's not as impressive as it sounds. But those guys from the 90s, the Three Little Pigs song, over the last few years, since 2017, we've been members of that band. And we did a show at the Machine Shop where we played as ourselves, PLeThorA. And then right afterwards, we headlined in Green Jello. So we just stayed on stage while the rest of the other guys came up. We had like 5 bassists, 5 guitar players, 2 drummers, a ton of singers, people, just stunt guys throwing stuff into the crowd. So it's a wild time. And the way that band kind of works is Bill Manspeaker, the frontman, will fly out from California to different regions and then play shows. And back in the time when we joined, he was doing local bands would basically learn the set and then play as Green Jello. And so the album that came out this last few years, it was called Garbage Band Kids. That album was comprised of songs that were written by all of these like franchise bands that he had scattered all over. And so we all got to submit music to be on the album to become a Green Jello song. So we wrote one called The Drinking Song with Bill, and it ended up being one of the, I think there's 13 or 15 songs on the album, but the record label approved it. So it was kind of cool because our song ended up being on an album with Weird Al and the Trailer Park Boys. So it's kind of a cool, like, little thing to just say that I've done.
Oh, it definitely is. I was actually going to lead there during this interview because I was, obviously curious with that. So I think it's awesome, especially to like have that kind of, obviously, being on part of an album with that kind of legendary band. It's also cool, like the inner workings of like how he does that. Obviously being, being the main, vocalist and person with the band, to have like these different franchise bands submit music, I think is really cool. Plus, you guys got approved by record labels that have it. So like, I'm curious, like looking back at that, like how does it feel to have that, like on your accomplishments for your music career?
It's pretty awesome. It's just like, it's a super fun song to play, and like just having Bill as someone I can just hit up whenever if I need something. Like, eventually I'm going to try and see if I can get him to feature on a song, because I know he's done that in the past. So that would be lots of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a super fun band to play in. There was a show we did. It's Detroit's Hollow Wicked show that ICP holds every year. We played on that one time, just in Green Jello, but that was just, there was like 3,000 people there. We had another 20 some members on stage. It's the most fun, chaotic time you'll ever have. Even I don't know how it always works out, but it does. Even though the behind the scenes that goes into a Green Jello show is there's no method to the madness. It's just hope and pray, and somehow it always works out. But it's always a blast.
Well, I'm glad it always
show up.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it always works out with that. Now, like, I'm curious. So, talking about like a live show, like with PLeThorA and Green Jelly. Like, I'm curious for you, what's your favorite PLeThorA original play and favorite Green Jelly song to play live?
Ooh, for PLeThorA, our Y'all Holla song is up there. Captain Crunch is up there. Man, we have a song called Planet Fatness that's really fun. That one, we have a guy that runs around lifting fake weights the whole time. It's basically about how much I hate Planet Fitness. We have Flavor Town's a good one. That one's about the time we totally met Guy Fieri. Let's see, Green Jello songs. Carnage Rules is fun. Serial Killer, and probably Electric Harley House. Those are all really good ones. Really good ones live. Three Little Pigs is also fun. It's hilarious that we might end up playing it at least 3 times throughout a set just because it works out that way. Bill likes to, in the middle of a song, randomly go back into that one and then go back into the song we were playing.
Wow. Do you know when that's going to happen, or is he just calling audible?
There's some hand signals and some time call outs he'll do where you just pay attention to Bill and it all works.
Wow.
Mashed Potatoes might be another favorite of mine that we play. That one is a heavy metal recipe for mashed potatoes. That one's probably going to be released in the next 3 or 4 months for sure, and with music videos and stuff. So that one, a funny story about that song. We were playing it at a show, and we do this thing in the middle where we hand out an entire bag of potatoes covered in our band stickers. And people in the crowd will be fighting over these potatoes to get one. And there was this kid on a dad's shoulders in the back. And so our stunt guy threw it to him, and the kid totally didn't catch it, and it hit him right in the face, this raw potato. And so we felt a little bad for him, but he seemed fine. So after the show, we went up to him and we gave him a CD and a shirt or something for smacking him in the face with a potato. And his dad is this Australian guy. He goes, "This is my son's first ever rock show. It is very apt that he gets hit with a potato." And so they loved it. We used to have this thing called the War Toaster that would shoot bagels and waffles into the crowd. I put like a fog machine inside of it with orange rope lights. And one of our old keyboard players, who was a mechanical engineer, built this contraption that would pull back an industrial rubber band that would be released with a foot lever. And so I would turn on the fog machine to look like it was toasting. And then we would start shooting food at the crowd from this toaster. The only reason we quit using it is because the van we used to transport it in broke down, and the van was replaced with a car, so we currently don't have a way to transport it because this thing was like 3 feet by 3 feet wide. It was a very large toaster.
That is definitely industrial grade. Well, hopefully you get a toaster wagon at some point to haul it around to shows.
Yeah, if we need to get famous so we can just have semis that will lug ridiculous stuff with us.
Yes, definitely. So I'm curious, and then we're going to start transitioning, wrapping up this interview. But speaking of props, how is it coming up with props that not only look cool, match PLeThorA, but also are functional?
Well, it's kind of the props are sort of based on the songs. A lot of the songs are just sometimes I'll just go on Amazon and just buy costumes because typically our stunt guys will dress up in just some sort of outfit that matches whatever song we're playing. So there's Viking costumes, there's alien costumes, there's pirates, there's potatoes, there's bananas, there's a turkey, various other America-themed stuff that we just have lying around. So I'll usually pack a bin full of the outfits that match whatever the set list is going to be. I'll build, typically I build all of these. Most of it is pure Americonium from the earth, which only resides under the White House. But in all seriousness, it's just typically cosplay foam. Sometimes I'll use motorcycle armor as a base layer and then build off of it just to make things easier. Then I hand paint everything. This one I put lights into it that can change color based on what I want the outfit to look like for the night. I've made weapons. One of the coolest things I made, we have a song called Aquaman's Revenge, which is about Aquaman before he was cool and played by Jason Momoa. Back when he was still really stupid looking, and everyone kind of made fun of him for his ability to be fish. And so the song was about him bringing up Cthulhu and the Kraken and all these ancient beasts from the ocean to take over the earth for him. And so I built this 7-foot Kraken outfit with big googly eyes and like pool noodle tentacles and a crab arm. And he would come out during that song in the solo, and I'd be shooting him with Nerf guns. And eventually we'll be shooting him with, you take like a leaf blower and you put a paint roller duct tape to the end, and you put toilet paper on it. So you can shoot an entire roll of toilet paper and cover him up with it, and then like stab it with a sword at the end to finish it off. So that one always got a lot of fun crowd reactions. Just a lot of it is so much stuff to take to shows, and we don't have the full ability to transport all of it. So it kind of depends on which show you're at, and how much stuff we're able to bring will determine what you see.
Oh, I gotcha. But I like the creativity with everything, and it just sounds, obviously it matches PLeThorA, but just so much fun as well. And again, to get those crowd reactions with everything you do is obviously the most important goal as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's just like, this the world sucks, and we're trying to make reasons for people to laugh and forget all of the problems, because things suck these days for a lot of people. So if we can make people like have fun, get involved, and just forget everything for 30 minutes to an hour, however long we're playing, that's worth it to us, especially when they all start rowing or whatever. Just that's what we do it for. So as long as we can keep having fun.
Oh, for sure. But now, as we're starting to close out this interview, so I'm curious now. Obviously, as we mentioned, it's the 15th anniversary this year for PLeThorA. So, like, what is the rest of this year looking like for you guys?
Well, we are deep into recording the 5th album that will be dropping again in October, hopefully. So, right now, you can expect the Cat Party song, Mosh Potatoes. We have a song about printers. We're doing a parody of Devil Went Down to Georgia called Devil Went to Michigan. We will likely be dropping those singles sometime in the spring. We've got a whole bunch of St. Patty's weekend shows coming up. We'll be doing Michigan Renaissance Festival again. We've got a couple smaller Ren fairs that are like weekend long things coming up in May and June that we should be on. So we have a lot of gigs coming up, a lot of fun stuff, and we have a comic book that's in the works that it's going to be really awesome. Hopefully we're going to have all this stuff kind of culminating and ready to just drop by our 15-year anniversary. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in the works that hasn't really been seen yet, but come springtime, things should slowly be ramping up to hopefully have the ultimate party of a year.
Very good. I look forward to seeing everything you guys have in the works for this year, and I hope everything goes smoothly for you guys as well. But now, as we're closing out this interview, for everyone watching, where are the best places to find PLeThorA online?
You can definitely find us on Facebook. We have PLeThorAmusic.com, where you can get any of your merchandise. Our YouTube, PLeThorA Music Official. We're on Instagram. Those are like the main ones I would go to. We're on Spotify. And make sure if you find us on any of these sites, when we started in 2010, there were no other bands with our name, and I made sure to scour the internet for this. And within like 5 years, there's now like 7 or 8, and one of them is in the Philippines, and they blew up to be way bigger than us with like 250,000 followers, maybe more by now. And they like to pop up and get confused with us. We are not a Christian hip hop band or boy band or whatever they are, but they seem to pop up when looking for us. So that's something to keep an eye out for. As clearly we look a bit different outfit wise.
Yeah, I ran into that problem when I was doing research for the questions for this. I noticed the distinct differences between that band that you mentioned and obviously you guys. So yes, I will leave some links for PLeThorA in the description of this podcast, make it easier for everyone who is watching, but make sure to check out and support them.
Yeah, plus our website will have all of the background lore if you want to read into the story of our creation and all of the epic adventures we go on every single album, as so to speak.
Well, for sure. Make sure to check out the website and all the links that I will have in the description of this podcast. For Freedomator of PLeThorA, I'm your host, as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.